Hello, Ivu here, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to make a landscape gouache painting. And for this painting, I decided to get inspired by pictures. There are 3 pictures on Unsplash. I chose this one. I found it really cute, especially the wintry vibe. So I decided to do a quick sketch to roughly get an idea of where I have to paint what. And especially for the house, I tend to get things disproportionate. So that's why I go here with a ruler to make sure that everything is straight so that I have some guidelines when I'm painting. And of course, you don't have to exactly copy all the details. So the palette that I'm going to be using is this used palette. I like to use a used palette, especially for the sky. I will let it pop here. You can see that it is sort of grayish, whitish, and I like to add white to some of this color. It helps really achieve that nice gray. And we are just going to start with the sky with just this white, and I'll just try to mix it with multiple colors that are already here. Perhaps I'll add some gray, but we will see later on. When I was recording this video, like at the beginning, it was really nice and sunny, and then later on when I was really about to paint, it got dark, so I had to put the lights on, which is not really my favorite thing to do because the colors don't look the same as when they are under natural light. So what I am doing here is just re-wetting my palette to get those pigments activated. And something that I see and actually like, especially in my landscape paintings, is that gouache don't really react the same as they were when they were wet, straight out of the tube or out of those jelly cups, for example. And it's really nice because you don't get that much pigments out of them. And that's what I am going for, especially for my landscapes, because I just want a little tiny bit of pigments, different pigments into my mixes, especially in the white. By the way, I always take a fresh titanium white out of the tube or out of the jelly cups. What I am doing here is actually trying to not have a flat background, so I really try to make wobbly lines to have a more textured or cloudy feeling to the sky and vary then my colors according to every brush stroke I make. My technique for landscapes is always based on a rule that the back of the landscape, so the more far it is, the more grayish or more white I add to my paintings. Then the more I go to the foreground, like here I am adding a bit more green to make it more warm and still keep it grayish looking, but with a bit more pigments. Now here, same technique as what I did with the sky. I do not try to have a flat painting or a flat wash. I really try to go in with a lot of different colors, weird wobbly brush strokes to achieve that nice texture, feeling and looking. similar to what I said before, the farther you are in the picture, the more white I add to my paints, and the more cold it is, and the more you go to the foreground, the more warm and the more, let's say, orange I add to my greens. I would like to add a remark to this video that I'm not a professional, I am not a teacher nor a tutor, I just like to share my process with you. When I was painting the house, I saw that I made a mistake on the sky, so I went in and fixed this. The way I fixed it is just by trying to mix the previous colors with a little bit more of the new colors. And same with the door, if you are wondering why did I smudge the door that way, I accidentally painted half of it, and then I realized that it actually had to be white. But if I just go over it with a white paint, half will look different because of the underpainting that is red. So that's why I lifted most of the paint and then tried to unify the whole door so that the underpainting looks similar. Usually with gouache, you should apply a thin layer and then build up more and more later on. But I directly started with a very thick layer to achieve those nice cloudy mixing sky and textures. So I need a very good opaque white. For this, I am using the Winsor and Newton's Designer's Gouache Zinc White. It has a very good coverage amongst all the gouache I own. I'm using this to outline the windows and the side of the house. As you can see on the picture, it looks white. And then I decided to use my Posca for the door because I am sure that it will have a very good coverage, and if not, then I can go on top of it later on for another layer to make sure that it is good covering. Here I am using my zinc white again to make the flowers, and for this I just try to make little dots and try to shape them into the blobby flowers similar to the picture. Finally, I take my Caran Neocolors to add more textures into the landscape, especially the mountains. I do not like to touch the sky, but for the back of the landscape I go with more grayish colors, and the more I go to the front, the more I use warm crayons. If you painted with me throughout this entire video, feel free to share it with me on Instagram. Here are my socials. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, bye bye!